Hello peoples, you alright? Red Pill Phil. Well, what a shitstorm. What a shitstorm. Where do I start? Okay, I should be making this video in reaction to what was an absolutely fantastic march. 73,000 people, the official number for that march. I mean, that's like almost the capacity of Old Trafford. Bada bing! Inside, it's a massive number of people to turn out. The people I met on the march were absolutely fantastic. Everyone seemed to have broke the narrative that it's not a Charlottesville. This is a common sense march. There was a hell of a lot of football supporters, different football rival crews, has to be said as well. Some very handy lads would have been in that march. Everyone behaved themselves. Everyone was impeccable. It was brilliant. There was no sense of fear or intimidation around that march. There was nothing at all. People, innocent bystanders, were walking in and around, and no one for 1 minute had to look over the shoulder because something was starting. So the narrative was blown out. So I went home personally feeling very happy and satisfied that I got some good footage. Once I started uploading it, all the positive comments were coming through. And I knew in my own mind that, I was quite satisfied with what I'd seen on the day and how I felt on the day. And it was only kind of reconfirmed with people who were leaving comments and whatnot, all nice words. The speakers were good. The way it was organised, can't fault them. Did FLA go far enough in their actual mandate? Some people say not. I think it's better going as far as they did than not at all. So obviously, some people might feel that the certain speeches could have gone further and said more. Maybe FLA were kind of very wary of that and wanted to kind of stand back a little bit and didn't want to come across that way. So I can understand it from that point of view. I can understand it from people being disappointed, their point of view, that they could have gone a bit further on it. But like I say, it's better, as far as they went, is better than nothing at all. So, I mean, that march must have sent shockwaves all round the country, all round the world, maybe. A civilised march, no hatred. The narrative was football hooligans, there's going to be a load of trouble here Saturday afternoon in the middle of London, there's going to be all drinking, all going to be swearing and this, that and the other. There was a few guys drinking here and there. I can't say I wanted that. Optically it doesn't look good. But did they cause any problems? No, they didn't. Everyone was just in good spirits and determined. So I commend everyone who went there. Well done, the frigging lot of yous. Because it's fantastic to be around like-minded people who know no matter what your field was, no matter what the colour of your skin was, no matter what you've done in your everyday life, it didn't matter on that day because we were all there to kind of say enough is enough. So the speakers were good. We had some ex-veterans who spoke. Gurkhas were there. So that really breaks down the narrative once again. The cheers that they were getting when they were walking round. There was wreaths depicting certain clubs that had gone, made an effort to show their solidarity towards the movement. Every time they were presented, people were cheering like mad. So there was nothing but respect from everyone to everyone who was speaking or anyone who was kind of showing any desire within it. It was brilliant. Phil Campo. Let's get on that now. Phil Campo, what can I say about that man? I mean, this is none of my business, but I'm just saying it as I see it. Phil Campo, the time I knew about that chap, a couple of years ago, probably, when he kind of gets wheeled out on mainstream media in the 24-hour loop directly after, any kind of an attack. His words are very strong. He's an ex-SAS-man, ex-serviceman. He's the kind of guy, the way you look at him, the way he talks, he looks like he could eat frigging nuts and bolts with engine oil for cereal. He is that kind of grit. Inspirational talker. You can imagine if I was fighting under him, I would run through a wall after listening to him. That's how much I regarded him before he went on that march. Once I heard he was on that march, I thought, yes. He was probably, I'll have to admit, for me, he was probably the best speaker on that march. There were certain slogans that he said that made me feel like 10 men. He really empowered me. So I can't believe how, after everything, he's gone and lambasted Tommy Robinson. Now let's get on to Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson turned up at that march. Now, some people are saying FLA didn't want him there, didn't want him speaking. Okay, it's their march. It's up to them how they kind of deal with it. Now, that might make sense if they want to tie into the, let's not present too much of a hardcore, hardline rhetoric. Whereas Tommy don't fuck about. What Tommy kind of says is not comfortable hearing to the most leftist liberal. They will interpret that as hate. But from what Tommy is saying, the points that he's discussing, you can't discuss them in a nice, light fashion. When you're talking about grooming gangs, when you're talking about kebab shops and, activities that go on there, when you're talking about justice for Chelsea, when you're talking about the mosques, it's not light viewing. No one wants to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But at the same time, I'd rather know it exists in my country than just go la 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 la. Like the lefties are doing. Literally. So they just rather brand him as a racist. Everyone's got their own opinion. I personally don't think he's a racist. I think he's a top bloke. I think he's worked his arse off for years. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he sleeps at night. He should be on the next Horlicks advert. He really should be. Because I don't know how he can think normally with all the stuff that is not only floating around his head, but the hatred that is put to him on a daily, hourly basis. The guy can't even go out for a pint of milk without having to film himself because someone might want a piece of him, and that's the climate. Now he'll probably say, you know what, I've created it for myself because I've come out. But he's coming out telling truths that people don't want to hear. Now that is the difficult part. Some people, like me, I want to hear it. Not easy, but once I hear it, then I can evaluate where I am and where I fit into all that. And then you can maybe talk about resolutions, get to the bottom of it. But like an alcoholic, he's first got to put his hand up and admit he's an alcoholic. If he's never going to do it, you're never going to get anywhere with it. So to brand him as that is really out of order. On the day, he come down in his journalist capacity, Rebel Media. I think he created a hell of a lot of excitement. People were buzzing. The guy's got an aura about him, whether you like him or not, I thought when he was walking around doing the rounds, he'd done a fair portrayal of the actual event. He wasn't slagging anyone off, even though he was probably told not, we don't want you there, this, that and the other. That didn't reflect in his article. He still gave the event a thumbs up. And not only that, the one thing that I'd totally give him kudos for, he got that BBC journalist and he rinsed him out right in front of everyone, calling him a nonce and everything. Not to say that it was brilliant calling him a nonce, but to be fair, the guy deserved a verbal slapping because what he's partaking in is disgusting. And he's sending out the narrative that people like me, people like everyone else that were there, far-right racist. So he deserved it, He probably won't bother. He'll be, he works for the BBC, so he's well protected. He'll just probably shunt that off and go off and spread some lies about something else somewhere else down the line. So I think to Tommy, you've done a good job there, mate. You've brought light onto the subject. You've actually enhanced it. I don't see how you've detracted from it. He even interviewed a very well-spoken mixed-race chap in his article as well. I don't know who he is, but the guy spoke some good sense. Thumbs up to him. But yeah, you just don't get it. So then, overnight, like I say, after the event, there should be so many reasons why people who've watched the clip, people who have attended, should be buzzing about it, thinking, yes, broke the narrative. There's so many comments that come through, oh, I wish I was there, them numbers look brilliant, da, da, da. It's like, yeah, so many reasons to make you go, yes. And then what happens? Phil Campo does a bit of a late night stream. I've only seen a little 2-minute clip of it. I mean, that's all I need to see. And he just lambasts Tommy. You think to yourself, what? Why? Now, it's what he said. If he'd have said, Tommy, you shouldn't have been there. People have branded you a racist. And I think you're a racist. And I think you're a racist because of A, B, and C. Whether you feel Phil is right for saying that or wrong for saying that, right, no problem. You've got it off your chest. That's what debate's all about. Okay? I don't necessarily agree with you, but as long as you do it in a fair, decent manner. He didn't do that. He just pretty much come out, well, I can't really have anything to do with Tommy because he's branded as a racist. So to me, reading between the lines, I may be wrong, but it's almost like he's saying, you know what? I've kind of just come on this rally scene. I want to come out. I want to talk. But I also have got my little sideline with the MSN every time there's a terrorist attack. So if I'm going to come out, I've got to make my message as light as possible, but still sound hardcore. I've got to make my rhetoric as polite, but still sounding like I want to do business. But at the same time, I can't show any affiliation towards Tommy Robinson because the establishment don't want to know Tommy Robinson. They want to just exclude him. Just brand him as a racist, brand him as this. So, even though Phil Campo has got his phone number, even though them two have corresponded over the past few days, before this event, and after, I guess. So that means that, really, if he's so much of a racist, you wouldn't have his phone number. You won't be asking him to go to boxing matches and whatever else you've been asking him for. So, aren't you kind of being a bit untrue to yourself there? What's that all about? You can't do that. He's obviously protecting his own line. But you've sold yourself out. The population, now who loved you? The population who loved you now see you as someone who's kind of discredited some way. Well, I kind of agree with that. I mean, at the same time, I still think he's a sound bloke. Still very much appreciative for his service and his words. But I can't agree with, one, the way he done it, and two, what he done. I mean, imagine this scenario. You've got two best mates. They move together all the time. All of a sudden, one of the mates just finds a girl. Yeah, nice little girl. So this girl starts becoming, part of not a threesome as in such. Maybe, most men would like that, but I don't mean it in that way. I just mean, maybe this mate has his girlfriend knocking about with his mate as well. Now, he's gaining a relationship with this girl. This girl turns around and goes, I'm really into this relationship, but, your mate, I don't like him. Not only do I don't like him, but I don't want him around me. So, because I want to be more in your life, I'm really asking you now to kind of make a choice. You either stay with me and fuck him off, or you get rid of me and stay with him. Now, to me, that's the scenario Phil Campo was in. Phil Campo has decided to fuck his friend off because he wants to be with this girl. And that's the analogy I can kind of come up with that best explains it. So I'm disappointed. It should be a movement that we should all be buzzing for. 73,000 people. Yeah? Lots of individuals there. Not all football fans. I spoke to some fantastic people. fantastic. Joan, Raymond, PJ, Steve, lovely. Each one of them people I could look at, and even though I've never met them before, only had a conversation with them on the first for the first time there, their characters, who they are, what they were talking about, I know people like that. I could point to each one of them and go, you know, Joan, I know a woman who's just like her. You know, PJ, I know a guy that's just like him. You know, Raymond, I used to work with a guy that was just like that. So I can relate to them. Steve, YouTube legend. My God, did he kick ass at Speaker's Corner. So these are all top people. So now, what are we supposed to do? We're now split. You've either got the Phil Campion, or you've got the Tommy Robinson. It's up to you which one you choose. Now I feel out of that, I've been stiffed, and the rest of the public has been stiffed. Because me and you both know, if them two guys work together, imagine the walls they could break down together. Now look at it, totally fractured. You know, I don't know whether Tommy's going to reconcile. I don't know whether Phil Campo's going to reconcile. For me, it's for Phil Campo to come out and sort this shit out. Really. None of my business. They're both grown men, so they can handle it the way they want and do what they want. I'm only speaking as a, you know, I'm saying it as I see it. It's unfortunately making us pick sides. So out of the two, I think Tommy's got my bet, really. Because I didn't see anything he'd done wrong there. And I didn't see how you can kind of brand him as a racist and tell him to fuck off. Really? After the work he's done? After the amount of death threats that guy's had? The guy's tireless. So it's an arrogant statement for anyone to come out with. But it's understandable if you look at it in the context that he wants to save his own ass. And maybe FLA wants to save their own ass. So it's a bit of a shame that it's ended like that, but I think regardless of that, I don't know where FLA is going to move forward from that. I don't know. But I just stick to them numbers. 73,000 people who come away from there feeling good. How many countless thousand people watched the footage, turned off the laptop and felt good? So that is a positive. Whether the FLA now totally implodes on itself, I don't know. I hope it doesn't. Whether Phil Campion, whether he survives after this, I don't know. I mean, one last thing before I go. One thing that'll happen now, Phil Campion, everyone will be gunning for him. Everyone will be looking at clips that he said in the past. They will picking out little phrases, little words, and they'll use it to slap him round the head with it. Because he's put himself up there now to be kind of shot at. So I was looking at some comments this morning whilst I was in work, and some chap graciously sent a link to a new show that Phil Campion was on. He must have had some book. There was some book on the coffee table or something. Whether I don't know how old the clip was, and I'm not even going to go into what he was talking about. But there was one statement that he said that I could not believe. His statement was Tony Blair. He says Tony Blair's all right. Tony Blair's all right. After what he'd done. War on terror. He's all right. How many Iraqis have died? Stephen Kelly, remember him? Just about to announce the documents were sexed up, and next thing you know, he's dead under a tree in the middle of nowhere. Oh, it must have been suicide. Oh yeah, nothing to do with Mr. Blair. Yeah, Mr. High and Mighty. The guy is a war criminal. He should join an illustrious club with so many dictators. So for anyone to go on national TV and say, Tony Blair, he said it to his face, you're all right, you're all right. What does that tell you about Mr. Campion? You're an alright guy, mate. I'm not gonna lambaste you like everyone else is. But there's something not right about the way you've handled the past few days, which makes me then question what you're all about. So, it's unfortunate. Hope you can sort it out. I don't know whether you can, because I think the mud is probably... There's too much mud on you there now. I think the establishment will pat you on the back. You know? But if he keeps making money, being wheeled out on mainstream media, you know, talking the talk but not doing the walk, then I guess he will feel alright. But for me, Tommy Robinson is the one that's making the most waves, the most ground, and putting himself at risk. So I think you bang out of order, Mr. Campion, and I think you do owe a massive apology to Tommy and to everyone who attended that march, because you slapped everyone in the face there with that comment. You didn't just hit out at Tommy Robinson. That was a cheap jibe. People will see you for that. So on to the positive. Last note. Thank you so much, guys, because I have now reached over 1,100 subscribers. Look at that. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, all the credit is going to go to you guys, none to me. I just press record and I chat shit. It's what is made of it that is important. People know I'm not on social media, so for people to openly support me, to come out in comments on my YouTube page saying, I know you're not on social media, I've got a Twitter account, I've just forwarded your video, liked it, this, that and the other, I've just shared it, I've just put this on the top of my, page or whatever. There's many of you that have done that, whether you're good friends or people I've never even met before. You've all done that for me. So that is what's really got me to here. Not because of me. That alone. So thank you to everyone. One person in particular who's got his own page called Great Brit. Great as in GR8. The chap got in touch with me a couple of weeks ago, asked if he could use my videos. I didn't even know what he wanted it for. I just said, yeah, mate, do what you want with it. As long as I was kind of half thinking, as long as you do the right thing, do what you want. I didn't know he was going to put it on his own page. He had over 800 subscribers. He put it on his own page, bigging me up. Like countless others, bigging me up. So you guys are the stars. There's something growing here. Can feel it in the water. As long as we keep it honest, we keep it integral, and we keep on message, and we just don't let the left kind of disenfranchise us, knock us down. So as long as we keep it going, there's no reason why I can't get 2, 3, 4,000 subscribers. So I'm going to keep going, keep doing exactly what I'm doing now. The next outing will be this weekend, which is the 14th of October, I do believe. And it's the Justice for Chelsea March up in Sunderland. I'm going to go up, do exactly the same thing, do what I can, be a man about town, just film it, try and get what I can, get any conversations out of people if I can. If not, just film, whatever, just get some footage, get it on the channel, and then let you guys decide who's racist and who's not. You know what I mean? So thank you again for everyone. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to me for 24 minutes. And one last thing on the Phil Campo and the Tommy Robinson. There's a chap, Liam, his name escapes me and I do apologise, my friend. I was watching your Facebook stream this morning. It's somebody else, another brilliant person off YouTube, has sent the link over. Now he goes into detail over 40 minutes over the Tommy and Phil Campion affair. I'm going to try and leave a link of some kind whether it be in this video or on the page. Like I say, his name escapes me. I know it's Liam. He's a London chap, very articulate, quite an amusing guy. Totally, thoroughly enjoyed the 40 minutes. So, you know, thumbs up to you, geezer. Well done. I think your analysis was pretty much spot on as well. Comical guy. So I think if anyone, have a listen to what he's got to say. Because he was talking sense, funny guy. And at the time I was watching it, I was absolutely starving. So, Liam, when you're talking about ordering burgers, mate, that didn't go well to me. Because you totally took me off point. I was totally buying into every word you're saying, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about burgers for the next 10 minutes. So I was starving, so that didn't go down too well. So I hope you enjoyed your burger. I'm hungry now, kind of salivating thinking about it. But no, try and check it out if you can. And then the other people who are speaking about it. And try not to get too wrapped up in it. You know, these are two grown men that will sort themselves out. It's not going to ruin the movement. Not as far as I'm concerned, anyway. And I'm not going to get triggered by it. So I'd like to think other people are not. Just stand back and be rational about it. You know what I mean? So this is Red Pill Phil. Very appreciative. Very humbled. Now the 1K subscriber. Yes, I. So thank you, everyone. And going back to the FLA March, you were all brilliant. It was a pleasure to be in your company. And I would go again. And you all done yourself proud and you done yourself justice. So give yourself a round of applause. So thank you guys. Like and subscribe. Cheers.